How many times have you taken a trade that looked perfect and it immediately went against you? Here's the thing. The candles were probably warning you before you entered. You just didn't know how to read them yet. So today I'm going to show you exactly what to look for so that stops happening. So what do candlestick patterns actually represent? Candlesticks are indicators of price movement, but more importantly, they're storytellers of market sentiment. Inside every candle is a battle. Buyers versus sellers, effort versus result, who tried and who failed. So before we talk patterns, you need to understand these key components. The body, this is the wider part of the candlestick. It represents the range between the opening and the close price. A long body indicates strong pressure in one direction. A shorter body represents more of a struggle. The wicks are also known as shadows or tails. These are the thin lines extending from the top and the bottom of the body. They show you the highs and the lows of that session. The presence of a wick indicates that while one side controlled the session, for example, this is a green body, so buyers controlled this session, while one side controlled the session, there were moments where the other side tried to push price and got rejected. So when you see a candle, you're not just seeing a shape of green or red. Every candle is literally telling you how strong was that side of buyers or sellers, and did they keep their strength or did they lose it? A green candlestick means that that session closed higher than it opened. The first traded price for that period is the open price, and it stretches upwards to its close price. But it also tells you how strong that buying was. A long green body indicates strong buying pressure, showing a significant increase from the open to the close. A short green body suggests less enthusiasm among buyers. A smaller price increase, which represents more of a balanced battle. A short green body suggests less strength, more weakness, and less enthusiasm among buyers. A smaller price increase means there's more of a battle. A red candlestick indicates that that session closed lower than it opened. This is generally associated with a bearish market trend where sellers have control. A long red body suggests strong selling pressure because it's a significant decrease from its opening to its closing price. A shorter red body points to weaker selling pressure, more of a tug of war where neither side gained a true advantage. A wick above a red candle's body shows that at some point buyers pushed prices up before sellers regained control and drove prices down. A wick below a red candle's body shows that sellers drove price down, but buyers countered it and brought it back up in varying strengths. This is how you start reading what price is actually doing and what is likely to happen next, not what you hope will happen. The strength scale is the simplest way to think about candlestick strength. At the top of the scale, this is where our strongest and most reliable candlesticks lie. They have big bodies. Their close is near the extreme. Green candles close near the high for strong bullish pressure. Red candles close near the low for strong bearish pressure. There's minimal wicks on strong candles. The absence of wicks indicates unchallenged strength throughout this trading period. It either opened from the lows straight to the high, that's buying dominance, or opened from the high straight to the close, that's selling dominance. If you see strong candles with big bodies and minimal wicks, that's dominance you can trust more. In the middle of the scale are smaller bodies with wicks on both sides, and this reflects a more balanced struggle between buyers and sellers. This indicates slightly less conviction. It could indicate a little bit more of indecision, and sometimes you'll see these types of patterns with wicks on both sides before a reversal. So if you see candlesticks like this, these are medium strength candlesticks. Now at the low of the candlestick strength scale, these are patterns with small bodies and large wicks. These are a much stronger sign of potential reversals, and if we have a small narrow body that closes green but big upper wicks, this would indicate weak buying pressure because buyers couldn't close near the highs. They attempted to bring price up, but it came and got rejected back down. So this would indicate weak buying pressure. On the other hand, on this side of the strength meter for red candlesticks, these candlesticks close red, but they have long lower wicks, indicating that sellers tried to bring price down, but buyers bounced near the lows and brought price back up. This would also show weaker selling strength. The long wick suggests that one side could not maintain control, indicating weakened momentum. This strength scale will help you gauge the intensity of market sentiment and market movement. But here's why I don't want you trading candlesticks by themselves. We also need confluence. Candlesticks aligning with support and resistance, or supply and demand, trend lines, or other signals. When multiple factors start aligning in your favor, bullish or bearish, that's when you consider a trade. Now let's start going over the main candlestick patterns you should focus on to learn this strength scale. First is a Marubozu candlestick. This indicates strong control. A Marubozu is a candlestick pattern that you can see with a long solid body without upper wicks or lower wicks. A bullish Marubozu indicates a time period where buyers firmly controlled the price movement from its open all the way to its close. The absence of wicks signifies that buyers were very strong, pushing prices higher without any significant pullback from sellers. The longer the body, the greater the buying pressure and the stronger the rally. On the other hand, there's also a bearish Marubozu. This shows strong selling all the way from the open all the way down to the close. This implies the price movement was completely bearish, steadily downwards without any significant upward retracement. Sellers were fully in control. It is simply showing you that the Marubozu candlestick pattern has unchallenged control. So how to use Marubozu candlestick patterns? Don't chase these patterns in the middle of nowhere. Your ideal entry point would be at or near the close of the Marubozu candlestick. But context matters. For example, if price is testing the demand zone, you would want to see a strong bullish reaction from your buying level of interest. So if you saw a bullish Marubozu candlestick form right on the demand zone test, you could enter at the close of the Marubozu candlestick. Or if we're in a strong uptrend, you should wait for a pullback into support or the trend line and enter when the next candlestick confirms the direction. This Marubozu candlestick can be a powerful confirmation on any time frame when it's supported by other bullish or bearish signals in the market. Second, the engulfing candle represents a shift in control. The bullish engulfing candle is a 2-candle reversal pattern. So in this pattern, first there's a smaller red candlestick, followed by a larger green candlestick that completely engulfs the body of the first candle. This pattern tells you that sellers pushed first, but it was weaker, and then buyers stepped in and took control so aggressively that they erased the previous session's effort. This suggests a strong increase in buying pressure and a potential shift in market dynamics from bearish to bullish sentiment. So the best area to look for a reversal pattern in general and a bullish engulfing candlestick pattern is at the bottom of a downtrend near support or a demand zone. This pattern is most significant when it appears at the bottom of the downtrend because it indicates that downward momentum is losing steam and a potential reversal may happen. Typically, we'll see bullish engulfing patterns like this at the bottom of the downtrend indicating the reversal. And the reason why this matters is because at the start of the downtrend, there's very strong, wide, bearish Marubozu red candles on the downside. However, the candle candles get weaker and the buying strength outweighs the selling strength. And that is the inception of the bullish reversal. A bearish engulfing pattern is the same but opposite. It's a 2 candlestick pattern where the first candle is a smaller green candle and the second candle is a bigger red candle, where the second candle's body completely engulfs the body of the first candle. Usually you'll see these at the top of an uptrend, where at first there was strong buying pressure and momentum, but as buyers weakened, those buying candles got smaller and smaller until our selling candles outweighed this bullish candle. And that was the inception of the start of this reversal downtrend. The best entry approach is entering at the close of the engulfing candle, confirming the reversal. Some traders use additional context as confirmation, like price action with higher highs and higher lows, or following the trend, or support and resistance levels. Another confirmation to confirm bullish or bearish sentiment, not just entering solely because you see the engulfing candle. Depending on the time frame, for the bearish engulfing candle, if you entered at the close of the candle, you could put your stop loss above the top of the pattern and target for a 1-to-3 risk reward ratio. And for the bullish engulfing setup, you could put your stop loss below the low of the pattern and aim for a 1-to-3 risk reward ratio. For your take profit, aim for the next significant resistance level or supply zone and ensure you always use a predetermined risk reward ratio. This is the 3 outside up candlestick pattern. And what it is essentially is an engulfing pattern followed by a confirmation of a higher high and a higher low. It's the small red body followed by a big green engulfing candle, and then the third candle closes above the previous high, making a higher high and a higher low. So the structure of this is the first candle is a small bearish candlestick. The second candle is a bullish engulfing candle, completely covering the body of the first candle. This suggests the strong shift in market sentiment from bearish to bullish. The third candle plays a crucial role in confirmation as well, because it should break above and close higher than the previous high of the candle. This reinforces bullish momentum. The third candle matters because it's showing continuation, not just a single moment of strength on the reversal, but the third candle's ability to surpass and close above the second candle's high confirms that buyers have control now. So if you didn't enter after the bullish engulfing pattern, the best location to enter would be after this candle closes. You should see these at the bottom of a downtrend, signifying that the downward trend is losing momentum and the bullish trend is beginning. You could buy when the third candle closes above the high of the second engulfing candle. Place your stop loss below the bullish engulfing candlestick, or for a more conservative approach, below the low of the third candle. So when you see this pattern, don't just memorize the pattern, but we want to see this at the bottom of a downtrend where selling candles start really strong and then they get weaker and weaker and narrower and narrower. And then all of a sudden we see a shift in momentum where we see a large bullish candle that outweighs the selling pressure. That candle closes, it starts the reversal. The next candle forms with a higher high and a higher low that confirms it. You can also see this pattern but opposite with bearish engulfings as well. If you saw this bearish engulfing candle and the next candle doesn't close and make a lower low, you might not be convinced to enter yet. But when the next candle makes a lower low and a lower high, it's confirming the reversal. Not just memorizing a 3 outside down candlestick pattern, but reading the price action as it develops. Every trader should know and understand doji candles. A doji is a neutral candlestick. In this pattern, the opening and the closing prices are essentially equal. The length of the wicks can vary, but the key feature is the flat body. Usually you won't see it as red or green, it'll be white. This is the market saying buyers and sellers fought, but they ended in a tie. It represents indecisions. Neither buyers nor sellers gained control, and the session resulted in a standoff with the equal open and close price. The Dragonfly Doji is a unique candlestick pattern because its open price, high price, and close price are equal. It has a long lower wick with little to no upper wick. The long lower wick suggests that sellers initially controlled the session, pushing prices down. However, by the session's close, buyers countered this move, bringing prices back to the opening level. This does indicate a tug of war between bears and bulls, ending in a tie because it did not close green, but it could be a potential sign of weakened selling pressure and a bullish reversal. The Gravestone Doji is the opposite. You can identify it by its long upper wick with the open, low, and close prices being nearly equal. The long upper wick shows that buyers initially took control, pushing prices upwards. However, by the close, these gains were relinquished and price returned to the opening level. This indicates a failure by buyers to maintain control, hinting at a potential bearish reversal. But doji candles don't mean enter right now. They mean pay attention. And you have to read very closely to see who's really gaining control. Is it buyers or is it sellers? If it's an indecision candle, it needs context. These patterns may appear in a consolidation period, or they may appear before a continuation or reversal of a trend. The key is pairing it with price levels. And if you see a Dragonfly Doji occur at the bounce of a support or demand zone, that would be key context. But if you see it in the middle of a consolidation range, it might not be as useful. And vice versa. If you see a Gravestone Doji at the resistance level or rejecting the supply zone, that will be perfect context. However, if it's happening in the middle of the range, it's not going to be as useful. This pattern is the hammer. It's a reversal candlestick pattern characterized by a small body at the top and a long lower wick. The lower wick is typically at least twice the size of the body, and the body is usually green. If it's a green candle close near the top, it is called a hammer candlestick pattern. If it's a red close at the top, that is called a hanging man candlestick pattern. The green body is seen as more bullish. So when we're looking at this pattern with the green body closing at the top, this is telling you that sellers initially drove price down, but by the end of the period, buyers stepped in strongly, pushing price back up and closing green. So if we have the Dragonfly Doji in the hammer candlestick pattern, the hammer candlestick pattern would be a more strong bullish reversal signal than the Dragonfly Doji, because there's more body, and the differences in the size of the body and the size of the wicks is the strength meter scale of strong buying versus strong selling. The bullish hammer does show the struggle between bears and bulls, but bulls eventually gain the upper hand, and this suggests the shift in market momentum leading to that bullish reversal. An inverse hammer is a small body with a long upper wick. The upper wick is usually about 2/3 the length of the entire candlestick. If it forms during a downtrend, it suggests a struggle between bears and bulls. However, as you can see with the inverse hammer, this is one of the most weak buying pressure signals. If the inverse hammer forms at the end of a downtrend, it suggests a struggle between bears and bulls, and it may signal that bulls are starting to gain more control. The reason why is because the candle is able to close as green. The long upper wick indicates that buyers successfully pushed prices up, but they couldn't fully maintain those gains. However, their ability to reverse the downtrend, even temporarily, is a sign of changing market dynamics and weakening seller control. The best time frame to find these inverse hammers is the 4-hour, the 1-hour, and daily charts. That's where they're most accurate and reliable as a signal themselves from a single candlestick pattern. However, you can also identify these patterns on the 5-minute time frame or on a smaller time frame if it's testing your zone or level at the same time. For example, if you waited for the next candlestick to open and close higher after the hammer, that would be a potential confirmation for an entry on a buy position, and you could place your stop loss below the previous low. Overall, candlestick patterns are not meant to be used alone. We want confluence, trend lines, support and resistance, or supply and demand zones, technical indicators, and market structure. We don't want to use these patterns in isolation. We want to use them with other tools, and when multiple factors start aligning in your favor, either bullish or bearish, that's when you want to initiate a position. These patterns can be applied to any time frame, but their significance and reliability increase on higher time frames, the daily, 4-hour, and 1-hour charts, or on a smaller time frame at a zone test. And the most important thing, manage your risk, because you can have the right idea and still lose money if your risk is out of control. Whatever pattern you identify, before before entering, make sure that that occurs at your zone or level test to confirm your entry. You always need a reason for entry, a target price, and a stop loss. Now that you know how to read the basics of candles, but candles alone won't make you money, the real edge comes when you combine this with supply and demand zones, knowing where on the chart these patterns actually matter. And that's what I break down in the video on the screen right now, how I personally use candlesticks with key levels to plan my entries and exits. If you're serious about getting better at this, click the video on the screen and I'll see you there.